Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Yes, we want to tell you a new story today, and the story is about how we came to be. That is how did Rev'd Up Consulting come to be, come into existence. I'm Stacy, Nolan, and Jay, and this is
I'm Tina Lee.
and we are the founders of Rev'd Up Consulting. And so we wanted to just talk a little bit today about who's Rev'd Up.
What's our story?
Yeah, where the heck did these people come from?
Yeah.
Who do they think they are?
Yeah, exactly.
You might even say. And so we want to answer those questions in a very authentic way. Tina and I met some years ago.
I want to say it was about 2016 or 2017 when we were working at the same workplace.
Yep.
And then we started to be on the same team.
Right.
Because you had transitioned over from another team onto the team that I was working with. And I remember the first day I saw you in the break room, you were getting a coffee, and I was like, hey, she looks friendly, I'm going to introduce myself to her. And I mean, even since then, I always thought, like, you had such a friendly demeanor, you know, I really wanted to get to know you some more. And come to find out, we, come out to be, like, really true friends.
Yes,
and,
good friends, true friends, and purposeful friends. And at the end of the day, you know, it was a natural alignment. You know, I always tell people that, you know, you may not be where you want to be. You may not think where you are is what path you are walking on is the right path. But all things are ordered for you. And so I believe Tina and I's meeting at that time.
So people you meet along the way, right?
Was what was instrumental in our development and who we are, but it was all a part of a bigger plan. We think a lot alike. Our meeting, I call it a meeting of the mind.
Yeah, we don't look alike, but we think alike.
Yeah, but I think she is my sister. What y'all think in real life? And I think that's the beauty of our relationship as well. You know, I am of African American descent.
Of course, I'm Asian.
Yes, and I don't know how many, Asian African businesses there are out there, but the goal, or I shouldn't say the goal, but at the end of the day, there should be more, because I think there is a dynamic here that transcends things, race.
I think we do represent the growing business class, like the growing business, the people, the face of diversity, essentially.
Right.
Like, they're not all just, the people we've seen throughout the years. They look like us, especially women and people of color.
They think like us.
Yeah.
They may not be as smart as us. What you think?
Now,
but hey, they can try. No, seriously, we believe that, there's something to be said about having dynamic friendships and relationships that make you reach across, take your hand and stretch it across the table to put it out to somebody who doesn't look like you at all. May not sound like you, act like you, but there's a purpose for both of you all's meeting. And so Rev'd Up started just from a meeting at a workplace, and then it evolved into so much more. And this wasn't an overnight journey.
Right.
Yes, we've been pondering, writing, digging, researching,
with a lot of stops and a lot of restarts and a lot of life-changing things along the way.
Yes, preparing for this mission, this purpose, and this which is bigger than us. And I think it has everything to do with, the timing. I think couldn't be better in terms of us getting out there and offering to people what we believe is needed. But we started as just workplace friends. It evolved into a close friendship as we talked and worked on projects together. We really saw how much...
Yeah, we just clicked.
Yes.
It never felt like a chore.
Right.
Like, we just have a good meeting of the minds where we can just riff off each other really well.
And we challenge each other, to be better, to dig deeper, and we recognize in each other things that are great. Like, I recognize greatness in Tina, and
likewise.
And so it's a good thing. And because of that, we believe that what we have and what we're packaging is something that can be shared and utilized to make your people, when I say your people, your organization's people better. Organizational people, sorry, that was not correct. Your organization better. And that is just basically core fundamental beliefs. Who are you? What do you want from your life? What are you willing to give and do to be better and to help yourself, but then to help others? And so, we would meet all the time at the coffee shops. We like coffee and tea shops.
Yes.
It's brainstorming sessions
Coffee,
there.
tea, wine, anything.
Let's cheer to that. And so, and just kind of laugh and even cry. We've gone through some things, we mentioned in another video, or we talk about may talk about it often, the challenges of in our life that make our paths, just kind of seamlessly work. And I have a daughter who has a blood disorder, and she's in the hospital a lot, and she deals with a lot of challenges. It causes me, stress at times because, everybody who's a mother knows, or you may not even have to be a mother, that when you see a child going through something, it pulls at your heart. And then, of course, I had my own medical challenges that caused me to just stop and rethink things. So, and Tina, you've had some.
Right, yeah, some similar things. I would say up until the last several years, actually the most of my life, up until 2018, I have lived a very just run-of-the-mill, normal existence. And then in 2018, my brother fell ill. And then shortly after, in 2022, we found out that he was diagnosed with cancer, stage 4. And in both of those instances, it felt like, and it was a health crisis. And especially for my family, where my brother has always been the strong one, the leader, the rock. And I'm the youngest in my family. So I had to really learn how to dig deep and pull something out of me that I didn't know was there. That is that quiet strength, I guess I like to call it. Knowing how to lead, knowing how to really learn more about myself and what I wanted to do. Before all this happened in my life, I thought that I wanted to just stay in the corporate world and climb the corporate ladder, maybe manage my own department one day and just live a very just stable life. But that wasn't the true me. And working and looking at my past history too, it shows that I always gravitated towards the startups, towards the small organizations. And that was for a reason, even before I really knew what it was.
Right.
I wanted something for myself.
Yep. Purpose will call your name loudly, and you can't ignore it. When purpose calls, you better answer, because it's for your benefit. And I think that's what is the story behind Rev'd Up. It's purpose. I've worked in many, in the healthcare industry for years, 25, 30 years. From being a regulatory insurance investigator, to a trainer, to management, to a claims representative, to an auditor, to so many different things. And there were takeaways along the way for me, like things that I learned. But what I learned about me that drives me every day is I am a problem solver. That I know I can identify problems before they arrive at your door. And I just naturally can figure out how to fix it.
Right, and I think we have a lot of commonalities there too, because I think one of the things that really gets me going is I like to fix processes.
Yes.
I could see what's broken, go down to define the problem, and try to put together a plan. A collaborative plan, because nothing ever happens in a vacuum. I mean, we all need to work together. Yes. But I think the things that Stacy and I are really good at is bringing in people, getting that buy-in, and just talking to people in a conversational way.
Yes.
Just an encouraging way.
Being very transparent, and it's important. You can't make things happen in a phony kind of way.
Right.
You've got to be honest, and honest first with yourself, that there is a problem. And the problem may be with you. You may be the problem. What you gonna do about it? You better do something about it, because you can't fix a problem
if you don't know what it is.
Don't know what it is, and then you're not willing to be honest about it. Have open conversation with yourself, with your team, with your husband, with your wife, with your staff, with your children, and then come up with a game plan for fixing it. And so I think Tina and I, we gelled well because we honestly, earnestly like helping people to be better in the workplace, helping them to see what the problem is, getting people off those hamster wheels, I like to call it.
Yes.
And then, making them feel good, lightening the load. So, that's just, and a little bit about, how we met from the workplace, but how we are intrinsically wired. And I think we both are intrinsically wired to get it done, to set things up so that people succeed, giving them a real plan, looking at people's revenue, accounts receivables, and see what the errors, what the challenges are, what they're dealing with over and over again, and give them a prescription, for how to remedy it. And that is really what, we do well. I can look at something, I can look at your accounts receivables and say, oh, I see what's going on. You've got a modifier problem. Your team is not rightfully applying the modifier, or that modifier in fact is no longer usable, because there's an upgrade to that modifier. Medicare decided to do away with that particular modifier. So whatever the situation or the issues that you're seeing in your revenue, I believe it always ties back to your training and how much you are pouring into your team, so that they can be better, so they can know that they're creating a problem. You can't fix things and not give the information back to your team. It's just going to happen over and over again. That's the old hamster wheel.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think let's bring it back when we were working on the same team.
Right.
So we actually worked together on a team as trainers, as people who went out to physician practices and helped them understand their revenue cycle, and then we also trained them on systems and ways to work and do better within their billing practices. But within that, for me, and I think for Stacy too, it was something more than just billing. It's about really, like I mentioned in previous videos, like sitting side by side by people, talking to them. And people don't need them for you to be overcritical or to just be like, why don't you do it this way? They need a helping hand. They need somebody to show you.
Yes.
And I think where we come together is really that we're good at meeting people where they are, and that is knowing that about us is we felt that we could contribute more.
Yes.
And we were seeing practices struggle time and time again with the same issues.
Same issues.
Regardless of specialty, regardless of whether they're a large practice or a small practice, it was always those same commonalities. And then when you see it over and over again, you really start to think about, what can I do to fix it?
Yes.
And
once and for all.
Right. Yes. Something that can be easily implemented, not without some work, of course, but so, a way that we can help practices to take back control of their revenue cycle.
Yes, and that's what I like about Tina. Tina, when I met her, when we were working together in practice, she was very meticulous and
I still am.
Yes, methodical in terms of resolution. The way she trained, where I felt like it was very resolution driven. Like, she wasn't going to these practices and the managers and training them with the intention of like, okay, you got it, I'm out of here. It was like, I'm going to train you so you can truly get an understanding of what your issue is and give you the actual tools or suggestions for how to sorry about the noise in the background. We got motorcycles that run up and down the street that's not too far from here. But she gave tools for how to fix it once and for all. Now, it was up to those individuals to stick to the script. Like, if she gave you something, if you deviated, well, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't her fault, because she did her job, because I saw her do her job. And I was like, wow, Tina, she's good, So at the end of the day, I think that's what made me really, we naturally were friends, but I really identified, like, she is somebody who is somebody special, and she had something to offer, and I just knew, and it wasn't a premeditated thing. Like, it was like, I saw her, we worked together, and I thought like, oh, hey, let's do this. No, it was a natural evolution of a friendship that just turned into conversations and then Rev'd Up came into being.
Yeah. Now let me talk about Stacy for a little bit too.
Talk about me, Tina.
Yeah. So I remember I said that I introduced myself to you in the break room because I knew you were about to come onto the team that I was on at that point. I mean, I knew that you were always friendly. You had just a friendly countenance about you. You're funny, and I naturally gravitate to really talkative, funny people.
Yes.
I may not be that way myself, but I like to hang out with people who are,
You are, Tina. You're funny.
Thank you. But the thing with Stacy, as I knew, even within our team too, she was a superstar because she handled some of the most, difficult, quote unquote, difficult personalities, but she did it with such ease and grace. And
sometimes it wasn't so graceful.
Well, she made it seem like it was, and then she was really good at just really holding your hand and that encouragement and that inspiration, which she inspires me every day.
Aww.
She encourages me every day, and she's really able to just see where a person is and just really try to lift them up. And I think people need more of that, and especially in training, it is a collaborative process. It's not me just giving you the solutions, but it's working with you to make sure that the people that you're training, that they understand, they know how to do it for themselves.
Yes, I think training has to be a heartthrob. That's why you meet people, you can be in a work setting and receiving training, and you feel like, wow, I don't know what she was talking about. And then there are people that you come across, you meet, you're like, wow, she really makes me want to do better. And so that's what I think Tina does, and I hope that that's what I know I do try to do that.
Absolutely.
Because it's beneficial to the person personally, to feel better, and then to the organization, so I appreciate you, Tina, for that. Thank you for the compliments and for the what you saw, because sometimes, and that's what's important, it's important that you tell the people that you care about, your team, or people who are, you may not even know them, but people who are doing things for you. Like, you have team members who are doing things, you're asking them to do a job, and they're carrying it out without any, pushback, and they're giving you more than you expect. You've got to pat them on the back.
Yes. We all need some encouragement.
Yes, we all do.
While.
I'm telling you, I make it a habit every day to compliment somebody. Because it makes, I know it's not a phony compliment. It's really something I identified, about that person, and it makes me feel good. So, because I see them smile. And so I think more of that is needed,
Definitely. I mean, the world is tough these days. We've been through some tough years. I mean, especially in healthcare. And these people, they're burnt out. They are, just dealing with some of the hardest things. And why not just try to lift people up, you know? They're in healthcare for a reason, serving people, trying to get people to be healthy and feel better and heal them. Why not just encouragement?
And I've seen too many people leave the workforce. People that I knew personally, people that have been, who were out on the front line when COVID hit, and they hit burnout because it was heavy, and things may have happened. They may have fallen ill, because I fell ill at the beginning of COVID. It wasn't COVID, but I felt ill. So I know what it feels like to be in a situation where you're up one day and somehow you landed down the next day. And so I've seen turnovers in healthcare. Like I see nurses, I'm like, wow, there's a whole new wing of nurses that I've never seen. And I'm like, what happened to X, Y, and Z? So keeping that, or knowing these things, I know naturally, that we're at a beginning. I think about my son who played football in high school, middle school, elementary school, and how, we were at one point the winning team, right? There's seasons of winning and there's seasons of losing, because there's kind of like a reset. Because once your seniors graduate and they go on, and they might be the winning team, Your juniors may be pretty good, but not as good as some of those seniors. But your freshmen may be weak. I hate to say that, but that may be the case. So you're starting all over. And weak today doesn't mean weak every day or the rest of their lives, because they eventually will become strong.
There's room for improvement.
But you just got to help them along the way. So I think that's what's happening here in the workplace now with COVID and post-COVID. Well, we're still COVID, but there's a rebuilding. So
yeah, I would absolutely agree. And I think also people need some hand-holding, and they need some gentleness,
Yes.
Things have been going on, and there's
Right.
a lot of influx, as Stacey said, of new professionals working in healthcare, but there is also a lack of proper training. So you may be hired on to do a role, but do you really understand what you are tasked to do? You may think you do, but you may not. Have you really been shown the basics? Have you really been, have someone really invest the time into you to make sure that you understand? We can all follow step by steps, but do you really understand why you're doing what you do and why things need to go in a certain way?
Yeah, and that's funny to me, because that happened to me in the workplace where I was dropped into a practice, and it was so many things going on in that practice that were scary. I'll just say that made me, really put on that uniform of, okay, let me get in here, fix some things, and get them on a better path. But I realized that there were a lot of things going on in the practice and on leadership level that led me to believe that they weren't, first of all, on one accord. They all weren't on the same page, but then they really didn't understand what was going on.
Right.
And so my takeaway is when you understand things, and from a very basic to a very, complex, you are able to apply simple formulas to correct, you then walk away with, the outcome that you sought out, or sought, I don't know, I'm not saying it right, but then you also understand that you can help not just those people, but other people and other entities just like that, who just didn't have a map.
So do you think that's one of the driving causes between working as an employee and then switching over to entrepreneurship, like being able to reach a lot more people?
Absolutely. I definitely think that, because once you feel like, and I feel like you have the formula, you want to share the formula with many people, not just one person. You want to help as many, because none of us are on an island alone. We all need each other's help. Certainly, if I can help the next person, the next practice, it will only make a healthier workplace or workforce. And I feel like that's something that I can do, and that, it's part of a calling, and a purpose. So yes, absolutely.
I would agree. I believe there is so much potential in just when you take this approach, when you are just wanting to teach and to train people, there's so much potential in the people that you can meet, the clients that you can help, that's outside of just one healthcare system or just one practice or what it may be. I think just the ability to know that you can really create something, like we're creating something from literally the ground up.
Ground up.
Yeah.
But we're fully persuaded to be the best and to help you be the best. And so I think definitely you have to, when you're given, I know this is cliche-ish, but I'll say it anyway. When somebody gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And we made Rev'd Up.
Yes.
And we
That's
are.
good. I like that.
You like that? See, I'm fancy.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're making the best of a situation, of circumstances. COVID happened. Practices were having some challenges before COVID. Now more challenges, and we have some formula and steps to help.
I think what makes us different too is our approach is different.
Yes.
It's not just about, of course, making money is important, revenue cycle is important, but it's bigger than that. We have a message. We want to spread positivity, and we have a lot of personality to go along with it, which is different from a lot of your traditional consulting firms where they just come in and give you a solution
and move on.
Right.
We want you to be impacted in such a way that you won't go back to the way you did things, because you get the basics and you know the importance of the basics, and you know the importance of, most importantly, being compassionate. Being compassionate to everybody that you come in contact with, whether it's your patient, whether it's your staff, whether it's your CFO, CEO, whether it's your managers, whoever you are, that you are fulfilled or you have been poured into so that you can give what is necessary to run an organization successfully and feel good about it.
I think it's about building up your confidence too.
Yes.
You need to be able to feel confident in what you're doing, to be able to lead your teams and to really define where you want to be and what success means for your organization. But how do you do that if you don't have the tools?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, yes, Rev'd Up with Tina and Stacy. We can Rev'd Up Consulting. Let me say the whole thing. And by the way, we can be reached at revdupconsulting.com. If you have any questions, or if there's something that you're in need, there's some particular practice issue that is burning you, and you're like, how can I fix it? You can call us, you can contact us, you can email us and let us know, and we'll try to help you. But we hope that you have at least got a little bit
get to know us a little bit more,
a little better,
yeah.
And
what we stand for.
Yes, we stand for a lot.
Yeah.
Of course, it's joking. We stand for purposeful practice, physician practice resolution, and we want to make sure that we help you and your practice succeed at a level that hasn't been ever been, and that you feel better about the success of your organization.
Right, it's really about taking back control.
Yep. So thank you for listening to us again.
See you next time.
We got more stuff for you.
Yep.
See ya.